Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the world of demystifying ChatGPT and AI. In this journey, we will unravel the secrets of ChatGPT, an advanced language model developed by OpenAI. Join us as we dive into the fascinating realm of demystifying ChatGPT and AI, unraveling the mystery and revealing the wonders of this cutting-edge technology. It is my privilege to present to you our esteemed trainer, Sir Piyush. I would like to request Sir Piyush to take it forward. Thank you.
Ian, thank you very much. Thank you, Kesan. Thank you, Garranto. Thank you, the respective institutions in Singapore and Malaysia who have enabled to put this together. Very, very happy to be here. Welcome and good evening. And thank you very much for making it at this late hour. I appreciate that AI is kind of taking over the world, generative AI more so, and I have deliberately called it generative AI, even as I understand that we're trying to demystify the whole bandwidth of AI. So yes, we will probably in the less than 60 minutes that we now have, we will probably have time to have quick introductions. It being seen to be a very tight cohort for the masterclass. I am going slow right now so that we are able to accommodate others who come in. And at the same time, I do not make you wait. So one of the important things that I wanted to share, even as we begin, is that Gartner identified generative AI as a top technology trend in 2022. Now, that's no surprise because we know that of all the technologies who were standing at their respective positions, all of a sudden, since November of last year, since the time that OpenAI released its next version of ChatGPT, AI has very, very clearly bolted from the blue and moved ahead of the rest of the pack like mad, right? So if Gartner says this, if the rest of the world is going gaga over what is happening to AI and what is happening in the space of AI, it is no surprise. So yes, tens of hundreds of surveys. So as of 12th February 2023, the popularity score of generative AI reached 100. That's the highest that it can go. And it has been stagnant since then. The featured image that you look at, isn't it beautiful? The interesting thing is, it isn't a painting drawn by some famous artist, not a photo taken by a satellite. The image that you see has been generated with the help of Midjourney, which is a proprietary AI program that creates pictures from text descriptions. So I'm going to be launching a poll. I know there are so few of us right now, but yet we must do justice where we're required to. So I'm going to be launching poll number, the one that you see here. Let me see what you guys come back with. Margaret, we are waiting for you to vote. All right, so this is what you believe. Very well. And as I end the poll, Margaret, and as I share the results here, you believe it is internet, right? And surprise, surprise, this is a poll of the readers of this particular top publication who voted that generative AI would be as big as the iPhone, right? So we all realize that of all the successive technologies that have kind of been coming in, it's the mobile telephony that has really taken the world by storm. This is not to negate what the internet did, right? So yes, if that is the case, a lot more dollars are going to flow into this space over the next year. Now, this is the big revolution. It took Instagram and Spotify around 2.5 months and 5 months respectively to reach 1 million users. OpenAI's new generative AI-powered chatbot, ChatGPT, reached the same 1 million users just 5 days after launching at the end of November. So yes, those are the numbers in 6 days flat, over 1 million users, one of the most disruptive technologies ever created, being adopted at a rate we have never seen before. So yes, one of the big few bright spots of venture right now is generative AI. In 2022, the funding soared to 2.65 billion across a record high 110 deals. Today, the buzz is at a fever pitch. Notwithstanding all this, the generative AI space is nascent. Welcome Ong, welcome Margaret. Any place you guys could stop me and we could look at if there are any questions, comments, observations. So far, the generative AI space has seen 6 companies reach the unicorn status. What is unicorn? Unicorn are private enterprises, private startups that go on to hit a valuation of $1 billion. And this cohort today includes OpenAI, of course, and a couple of others as you see. So yes, hot off the oven is the generative AI chatter. Recently, news broke that Samsung was considering switching its default search engine to the new GPT-powered Bing. So Samsung is important because that's the Android system. If you look at comparing what has happened to generative AI versus metaverse in 2022, why metaverse? Because metaverse was seen as the future of technology in 2022, with its potential to create new digital worlds and immersive experiences, right? But however, in 2023, everything has changed. There is a lot more funding due to a number of factors, including the slower than expected adoption of metaverse, the greater potential for generative AI, and the increasing sophistication of generative AI algorithms. So this one that you see here took a while to put together, but here it is, a list of top investors in generative AI. I would like you guys to watch this video for a moment.
Generative AI will be a revolution. Today's everyone and the headlines are focusing on its technical limitations and on productivity gains, but tomorrow it will be a product and business model innovation. And this is why CEOs need to do 4 things. The first one is to generate responsible AI guidelines dedicated to generative AI. Second, it's to identify the use cases that with generative AI will become a source of competitive advantage. Third, they need to experiment and fully understand the depths of generative AI and how it will impact jobs. Based on that, they will have to redefine their operating model and their organizational blueprint. Fourth, they need to implement a new change management model that takes care of the professional identity of the employees.
All right. So yes, it is ChatGPT all the way. I would like you to peruse what is on the screen before I give my 2 cents. Now, this type of response would be impossible for a human to come up with, but it, as we now realize, is perfectly within the realm of possibility for ChatGPT. But here is the catch, people. ChatGPT's responses only touch reality at a tangent. While they may sound convincing, they are ultimately fictional creations of the GAN. Now, this might sound like a drawback, but it actually makes ChatGPT incredibly useful because these completely imaginary conversations provide some creative out-of-the-box responses. So this is OpenAI CEO, CTO, Sam Altman, the man of the moment on how AI will reshape society.
On the other hand, there's a huge number of unknowns that could turn out very badly for society. What do you think about that?
We've got to be cautious here. And also, I think it doesn't work to do all this in a lab. You've got to get these products out into the world and make contact with reality, make our mistakes while the stakes are low. But all of that said, I think people should be happy that we're a little bit scared of this. I think people should be
You're
happy.
a little bit scared.
A little bit, yeah.
You personally.
I think if I said I were not, you should either not trust me or be very unhappy I'm in this job.
So what is the worst possible outcome?
There's like a set of very bad outcomes. One thing I'm particularly worried about is that these models could be used for large-scale disinformation. I am worried that these systems, now that they're getting better at writing computer code, could be used for offensive cyber attacks. And we're trying to talk about this. I think society needs time to adapt.
And how confident are you that what you've built won't lead to those outcomes?
Well, we'll adapt it. And also, I think
You'll adapt it as negative things occur?
For sure, for sure. And so putting these systems out now, while the stakes are fairly low, learning as much as we can and feeding that into the future systems we create, that tight feedback loop that we run.
So Sam Altman, the man of the moment, says he is scared. Can you imagine, guys? So this is the business of the foundation models that can do these things, that represent a breakthrough in AI. Okay. And this is where you could actually have a situation where they could do text to images, they could do images to text, they could do text to video. So Midjourney is one of such ChatGPT kind text to image versions. And Midjourney was asked to make 3 versions of each image, one with collage added to the prompt, one with Salvatore Dali that you see at the bottom, and one with Peter Bruegel, the elder. Now you can change the illustration style if you actually go on the web with the toggle, and the code behind which was co-authored by GitHub Copilot, which is another AI tool. So no doubt that ChatGPT is the latest massive internet phenomena, 100 million users in 2 months, with an estimated 13 million users every day of January. All right. So this is a selection of economist covers given to ChatGPT. And actually the model combines both the Florence model and OpenAI's GPT-3 selection of economist covers to an application developed by Microsoft to generate text descriptions of images. I will allow you to read what ChatGPT came back with. Yeah. Another time, to OpenAI's GPT-3 model, they fed the opening lines of some famous novels and asked it to continue the story. And this is what it came back with. So in this animation that you see here now, AI is used to transform a dancer into a crow. The result is a haunting and compelling piece that follows the crow through its brief dance in a landscape of post-apocalyptic barrenness to its inevitable demise. Yeah. Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. The same guy, Marshall, whose video you saw earlier, he had previously earned plaudits for an AI-generated Daft Punk video, but he applied a different approach to the crow. Okay. So I'm sure some of you guys may have been noticing it, the power of AI art. While they look like the real person, they of course are not. So how smart really is ChatGPT? When you visualize the performance in human examinations, this is what you get. No exam you can bar it from excelling at. So I'm also reproducing a conversation with Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, and this is in 2023 at Davos, how ChatGPT is spreading.
In any language in any Indian language. So a demo I saw was a rural Indian farmer trying to access some government program, right? So he just expressed a complex thought in speech in one of the local languages that got translated and interpreted by a bot, and a response came back saying, go to a portal and here is how you'll access the program. He said, look, I'm not going to go to the portal. I want you to do this for me. And it completed it. And the reason why it was able to complete it was because a developer building it had taken GPT and trained it over all of the Government of India documents and then scaffolded it with the speech recognition software. So think about what that meant, right? That basically meant that a large model, a foundational model that was developed in the West Coast of the United States a few months before, had made its way to a developer in India who then sort of added value to it to make a difference in a remote villager's life. And I've never seen that type of diffusion. To your point about the Industrial Revolution, Klaus, I would say, we're still waiting for the Industrial Revolution to reach some large parts of the world 250 years after. The internet maybe took 30 years. Maybe the cloud and mobile took 15 years. And now I think we're talking months, which to me, I think is perhaps the benefit. Doesn't mean to your core question.
So tell me, people, are there any questions, comments, observations? Anyone, anything? So very clearly, the days to come are of generative AI, no doubt about it. The market for generative AI, as you see here, growing at something like 27% annually over the next 10 years. It is on fire. Why? Is this really the greatest thing, the biggest thing? This list includes private, non-exited generative AI companies with over 5 million USD of total fundraising, right? Nearly 300 odd companies here. So I'm going to be using this entire 20-minute thesis on what generative AI has done to really bring us to the business of AI. How have we really reached here? What is AI? What is machine learning? What is deep learning? What is something called neural networks? Anyone Any clarity, any insight, what is AI and what then is generative AI? Any of these questions, if you could answer, I would really appreciate it. Anyone? Margaret, Ong, Casey Oy, Jennifer, Lim, Law. What is AI? So the big three drivers of AI, first and foremost, huge, humongous, big data of what we the humans have produced in the last 200,000 years has been produced in the last 2 years. And this is when IoT has not taken off. So imagine what the situation will be going forward. So yes, huge volume, velocity of data as number one. The ability to compute this data when you are mobile and when you are having all the data available through cloud computing. So in a mobile first and a cloud first world, the humongous computing power that is at our disposal. And both of these combined with a third thing called algos, algorithms, sophisticated softwares. All these three things, when they come together, they create this huge boom called AI. Now, machine learning is a subset of AI. All right. And deep learning, in turn, is a subset of machine learning. Okay. And deep learning works on something called neural networks. So for now, we will leave it at that. Move forward. These are 6 authors of a seminal research paper by Google that helped enable OpenAI, right? Having raised 1.3 billion in startup funding and already created 2 unicorns. And this is the timeline of how generative AI, what really all CEOs, all top leaders to know about, how the whole thing has really come about. So yes, we finished with the first section, which was all about just providing an overall overview of what generative AI is all about, what AI is all about, how do you differentiate between what we hear as machine learning, deep learning, and what have you. Time for me to go around the room asking, are there any questions, comments, observations, anything, anyone? My intention is to only go up to 40 minutes, which means 8 o'clock we started and 8:40 is the time when I will finish off my slides. We will still have 20 minutes of good discussion time. However, before that, if there are any questions, comments, observations, I'm in a position to co-curate this session. No questions? All right. So this is how the market landscape looks like. It's a schematic that describes the platform layer that will power each category and the potential types of applications that will be built on top. List of 30 generative AI tools along with their applications. So what all can generative AI do today? This is Harvard Online.
I gave it a prompt asking what should Harvard's strategy in online education be in a way that preserves the it typed out a fine essay, but it was pretty generic. I then cut and paste the essay and gave it back to ChatGPT. And I said, if this was the answer to an essay prompt like this, how would you grade it? And it said, I would give it a grade of C+ because it's not Harvard specific enough, which was absolutely fascinating because I was like, actually, this is not just for giving answers, it's for grading answers. And there's a certain degree of self-awareness, or dare I say humility here.
Yeah. So all kind of generative AI applications are abounding. This is image generation, as you see. One of the most prominent use cases of generative AI is creating fake images that look like real ones. Right? Image to image translation. Right? Sketches to realistic images. Text to image, what you saw at that time earlier in the evening. was image to text when we talked about the Economist covers, and Jane Austen text to not images, but continuing with the text. Text to speech. Right? Here you go.
Welcome everybody to GAN Theft Auto. What you see here is me playing inside of a neural network's environment. This neural network was trained by watching a bot play Grand Theft Auto 5 on this particular stretch of highway, learning how to generate new frames from previous frames and player input. So every pixel you see here is generated from a neural network while I play. While generating the visuals or just improving them is interesting too, and there has been some interesting work lately.
So image and video resolution enhancement. Synthetic data generation.
Frames that you see is not rendered by a graphics engine. It's actually rendered by AI technology that we built.
This is the first time we combine machine learning and computer graphics to do image generation using deep networks.
For training data, we're given some driving sequences of different cities. And then we use another segmentation network to extract the high-level semantics from these sequences. We have the UE4 engine to generate these colorized high-level layouts. Different objects were given different colors.
The network converts this representation to images.
I made my co-author to dance Gangnam Style, which I don't think he would do by himself.
We find some good dancing videos from another person and then use my model to synthesize the dance move. That was created by machines. It's not me.
So yes, these people do not exist. These faces were artificially generated using a form of deep learning known as GANs, Generative Adversarial Networks. So all of the applications in one place, how really generative AI is taking over the world. So as we know, in this session today, we wanted to demystify ChatGPT, which is a fascinating new application of these GANs, Generative Adversarial Networks. For those of you who joined late and unfamiliar with GANs, GANs are a type of neural network that use two competing networks, a generator and a discriminator. Why? To create realistic looking outputs. So what the generator does is that it generates fake outputs, and the discriminator tries to tell the difference between the fake outputs and the real world data. So through this back and forth process, the GAN is able to produce outputs that are indistinguishable from real data. What ChatGPT does is that it takes this concept and applies it to text-based conversation. It uses GANs to generate responses to input text, allowing it to engage in natural sounding conversations with humans. So I'm going to be showing you guys a video which should completely make it clear as to what the business of ChatGPT is all about.
Meet John, a talented programmer who is looking to start a company that used his personally developed mobile application to connect restaurants and customers for booking and reservations. Even though the app was ready, John had difficulty getting together a team for his startup, needing separate people for sales, marketing, programming, content creation, and customer support. Hiring reliable manpower while being strict with his budget was getting difficult. He reached out to his friend Ryan, who said John could start his company without hiring any new people, thanks to just a single AI-based tool. John couldn't believe it, which led Ryan to introduce Chat-GPT, the revolutionary AI chatbot being developed by OpenAI. It is a state-of-the-art natural language processing, or NLP model, that uses a neural network architecture to provide responses. This means that the ChatGPT bot can answer questions without being explicitly told what the answer is using its own intellect, unlike previous AI chatbots. So, how does ChatGPT help John in filling out his team? Regarding sales, ChatGPT can provide full-fledged sales pitches based on the correct prompts. It can provide tips on how to pitch your product to businesses, removing the need for sales training. Completely customized to your requirements and your prompts. If you don't like some things about the response, you can ask for certain changes, and the chatbot will make sure they are done. When it comes to marketing, ChatGPT can provide efficient marketing strategies, which can help new entrepreneurs learn how to market their products to prospective clients. It can provide trending keywords that marketers can use for SEO purposes, while providing ad copies for your website and blog. Speaking of websites, since John can do a lot of the heavy lifting in programming, ChatGPT can help proofread the code and help out when looking for bugs to fix. Apart from basic bug fixing, it can also provide sample code structures for different programming languages, allowing John to focus more on improving core functionality and workflow rather than fixing basic code errors. Websites and blogs content is very helpful in gathering potential customer leads. The revolutionary bot can provide full-length blog posts with near-perfect fast accuracy in seconds, allowing further customization, like choosing the length of the subject matter to the complexity of language. For John's customer support, the bot can draft complete customer service emails based on the situation, saving time and resources. The tone of the message can be changed to reflect the nature of the message, creating an efficient alternative for call center professionals. John was left speechless seeing this level of versatility from ChatGPT and wanted to implement it right away. However, Ryan made sure John knew about some drawbacks of the chatbot before getting started. Since the bot is trained mostly on data up to 2021, many of the newer events may still need to be discovered by ChatGPT. Even basic stuff like asking about the current date and time is beyond its scope, much like the limited understanding of context despite providing near lifelike solutions to certain problems. Even the accuracy of many responses can be questioned since the AI model is still learning and being developed. There is a section of the public that believes the revolutionary tool can one day replace Google search. But that day seems far-fetched so far because of the variety of issues people keep running into when using ChatGPT. So here's a question for you. Which of the following tasks cannot be carried out by skilled automated divisions and organizations to serving as the perfect digital assistant? OpenAI is creating a bot for the future aimed at solving the problems of today with the tools of tomorrow. The ability to carry out a myriad of tasks with minimum manpower will boost productivity at organizations in every sector, thanks to the revolutionary ChatGPT.
So, are there any questions, comments, observations, people? Anything, anyone? Can I help with any queries? Okay. Yes, please, Margaret, go right ahead.
Yeah, the video, the narrator said something about there are issues that people run into when using ChatGPT. What kind of issues would he be referring to? Thanks.
Okay, so ChatGPT or any of the large language models are right now only trained up to 2021 data, Margaret. That means if you were to ask what is the date and time today, it cannot answer because it doesn't have that data. If you were to ask what has happened in Ukraine, maybe it will not be able to answer. What is going on in Ukraine, it will not be able to answer. So these are some of the issues. There are some other issues which I'm going to be tackling across 10 questions. I'm very glad that you asked that question. It's a very, very valuable and important question, Margaret. Thank you very much. But if there are no more questions, I'm going to be listing 10 questions, and those 10 questions, answering those 10 questions will be the end of this masterclass. And one of those questions will delve deeper, Margaret, into what you just asked. And after that, if you still have queries, I am here. Okay? All right. So question number 1. What is ChatGPT? It is an AI chatbot system. OpenAI released it November last year to show off and test what a very large, powerful AI system can accomplish. As you were seeing, you can ask it countless questions and often will get an answer that is useful. What kind of questions? You can ask anything, though you might not get an answer every time. So OpenAI suggests a few categories like explaining physics, asking for birthday party ideas, and getting programming help. So ChatGPT's expertise is broad and its ability to follow a conversation is notable. For example, when I asked it for words that rhymed with purple, it offered a few suggestions. And then when I followed it up with, how about with pink? It didn't miss a beat. Okay. All right. So as I said, brainchild of OpenAI, an AI research company, they claim their mission is to develop a safe and beneficial artificial general intelligence system, or to help others to do so. No more than 375 employees who you saw in the beginning. Sam Altman, he tweeted in January, OpenAI has managed to pull together the most dense researchers and engineers in the field of AI. Has it made splashes before? Yes. First with GPT-3, which could generate text that can sound like a human wrote it. And then with DAL-E, the examples that we saw in the beginning, which creates what is now called generative art based on text prompts that you type in. Okay. It is not totally automated, which means humans evaluate ChatGPT's initial results in a process called fine-tuning. The human reviewers apply guidelines that OpenAI's model then generalize from. In real terms, ChatGPT does not actually know anything the way you and I do. It is just able to take a prompt, find relevant information in its oceans of training data, and convert that into plausible sounding paragraphs of text. So we are a long way away from the self-awareness that we want. Yes, for the moment at least, but in January, OpenAI did add a paid version that responds faster, keeps working even during peak usage hours. You can sign up on a waiting list if you're interested. ChatGPT's compute costs are eye-watering, is what Sam Altman said, at a few cents per response, right? Potential investors have been told that it expects 200 million in revenue in 2023 OpenAI and 1 billion in 24. This is according to Reuters. So this question, Margaret, should answer your question in even greater detail. OpenAI emphasizes ChatGPT can give you wrong answers and can give a misleading impression of greatness. Okay. So it's important to know and understand that we're still in early days yet. The journal Science banned ChatGPT text in January, saying an AI program cannot be an author. So there are issues on plagiarism and tens of other issues. And that brings me to the next question. Yes, but with many other technology developments, it's not a simple black and white situation. Decades ago, students could copy encyclopedia entries and use calculators. And more recently, we've been able to use search engines and Wikipedia, right? So ChatGPT offers new abilities for everything from helping with research to doing your homework for you outright. But many ChatGPT answers already sound like student essays, though often with a tone that is stuffier and more pedantic than a writer might prefer. Earlier in the day, we saw how it is a very smart one as far as passing those examinations are concerned. My sense is educators thought that Google, Wikipedia, and the internet itself would ruin education, but they did not. So maybe we need to look at it as a tool and not as a villain. Can teachers spot GPT use? Not with 100% certainty, but yes, there is technology to spot AI, and that can help. The beautiful thing is not only can it generate text, not only can it generate images, not only can it generate videos, not only can it generate music, it can even write software. Yes, but with caveats. ChatGPT can retrace steps humans have taken and it can generate actual programming code, which means what a programmer will take otherwise perhaps an hour to write, it could do in only 10 minutes. That's the power. So yes, ChatGPT is designed to weed out inappropriate requests. As OpenAI says, its mission is to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. But if you ask ChatGPT itself what is off limits, it will tell you any questions that are discriminatory, offensive, inappropriate. This includes questions that are racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, or otherwise discriminatory or hateful. So asking a computer a question and getting an answer is useful, and often ChatGPT, I would say, delivers the goods. Google often supplies us with its suggested answers to questions and with links to websites that it thinks will be relevant. ChatGPT's answers far surpass what Google will suggest. So it is easy to imagine that ChatGPT 3 could be a rival. What we must not forget is that Google itself has also built large language models of its own and uses AI extensively already in search. This is irrespective of what we saw earlier in the day, the code red emergency within Google that was triggered owing to ChatGPT. Okay. So I thought these are some of the most headline questions that I get asked when I go around the world doing these masterclasses. That brings us to the end of this masterclass, full 40 minutes. I'm happy to take questions, comments, observations, views, perspectives, learning. Somebody who's used ChatGPT here. Yes, Margaret, it is multilingual, but I don't know which all languages. All right, Margaret, thank you very much for being participative. Your questions are valuable. Yes, people, any questions, comments, observations, discussions? Anything to share, any reflections? Has anyone used ChatGPT? You could speak, my dear. Okay. Anyone, anything? All right, so I have two options. We still have some time left. I will spend 5-10 minutes more. I can either show you a couple of more slides or I have a suggestion. Why not show and tell? Would you guys like me to do a ChatGPT thing on you and, run it, the demo? Yes, no. You want to see how it works if you haven't seen it already?
Yes, please.
All righty, Margaret. And the rest of the team. I will just see if my internet is working all right. Just give me a moment. Okay. So I have to first do my whole sharing, right? Screen. So stop share and share screen and desktop and share. All right. Now, generative AI, we will just reduce this and we will go here. Okay. Here. So how do I do it? ChatGPT login. Right on. I'm already registered, so you guys will have to register. Okay. Okay. All right, so I have several categories, but I will open a new one. I will call it a, okay. So what do you want to ask, Margaret? I'll be your wingman. Please tell me any questions that you have. New chat, all right?
No,
Any questions, Margaret?
nothing specific. How about a diet plan for a female or something?
All right. I will. Are you from Singapore or Malaysia?
From Malaysia.
All right, Margaret, is there a target that you have? Target weight reduction that you're looking at?
Oh, no, no. I'll just say 10 kg or something.
All right, let's see. Here you go. All yours, Margaret. Okay, complete that plan. Are you with me? So see, it has changed when your query has become more refined, and that is what prompting is all about. All right, let's go somewhere else. This is tough. Okay. Margaret, are you guys with me?
Yeah. So you're basically having a conversation.
Sorry, yes, I'm still having conversation.
No, I mean, ChatGPT with you.
ChatGPT is confused. It can't figure out how to make it funny. Very difficult. Okay. Oh, beautiful. It is difficult, but it is struggling, yet it is able to put it together. There you go. So you can pay me $500 for this ChatGPT. Margaret, this is for you. Special one in poetic form. Enjoy. And this is the funny version of it. And enjoy. Yes, any other queries? Anyone? ChatGPT at play. And this is your diet plan. Margaret, will use it, but refer to a doctor or some other professional. All righty. Okay. See it? Okay, people. Can ChatGPT is ChatGPT multilingual? This was your query, right? I don't know myself, but let's check. See? French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Dutch, everything, Arabic. Okay, so this is it, people. Any other questions, comments, observations? If you allow me, I will just exit the ChatGPT business. We will come back to our class. This was a quick, neat demo for you. I hope you guys found this useful. Where are we gone? Where are you guys? Where is my
One is
class?
asked about ChatGPT, Bing and Bard.
Sorry, Margaret.
There is a question about ChatGPT, Bing
Yeah.
and Bard.
Being
The other AI,
okay. Your question is.
Microsoft's Bing and I think Google, is Bard Google. No,
I'm
does
not.
that-
I'm not able to make out what you're suggesting or saying, Margaret.
Oh, somebody has posted a question.
Oh, is it? Is it in the chat? Okay. ChatGPT, Bing, Bard, are they similar in function? If yes, what are their pros and cons? Okay, good. Whose question is this?
KC, sir.
Whose question is this? Casey, we. All right, so ChatGPT, Bing, Bard. No, they are not similar. Bing is a search engine. Okay, Casey, thank you so much for that very important, valuable question. ChatGPT is not a search engine. ChatGPT is a chatbot. Bing, as we know, is a search engine. Bard, yes, it is in the same zone as ChatGPT. It is a large language text model. Okay. What are their pros and cons? What are the pros and cons of using a Pepsi versus Coke? What are the pros and cons of using an Amazon versus, I don't know, in your part of the world, if it is Walmart or who? What are the pros and cons when you're using an Adidas versus a Nike or a Puma, right? So they are all products and they are all brands which are different, belonging to different companies. So one of them is OpenAI, which in turn is Microsoft. Bing is the search engine for Microsoft, so it is powering itself through that. And Bard is Google's first foot forward, in that space. So yes, they are all different brands, but right now, ChatGPT, because they are having the first mover advantage, they are the first in the class, well ahead of the rest of the pack. Okay. Any other questions, comments, observations, people? Speak up. We are a very tight group. As a matter of policy, typically for posterity's sake, we try and take a photograph of the cohort that we are in. So may I request all of you guys, because this is essential for us also to be able to issue you the certificate. Can you guys kindly turn on your cameras and my colleague Diane will take a photograph? No, you cannot take out a response into PDF to the best of my knowledge, and you cannot feed a PDF. So there are APIs which enable you to feed a PDF, but otherwise you can't even feed a PDF directly into ChatGPT. Okay, Casey, thank you. Yeah, good one, man. How's you doing? Are you in from Malaysia or Singapore?
Malaysia.
Jennifer, your hands are very beautiful, but your face is not showing up. Yep. Margaret, Ong, via Lim, Law, could you kindly turn on your cameras so that Diane can take a photograph? Oh, Malaysia, Casey, how's the weather there? You seem to be sitting at an airport or something. What a nice window that you have.
Virtual background.
Ah, nice. Are you done, Diane?
One moment, sir.
Sure thing. Margaret. Lim, yes, Lim, you're almost visible. Very well, thank you. Law on Margaret. Each one of us is as camera ready as we are. It's all casual, no worries. Thank you very much, people. If there are no more questions, comments, observations. Okay, Margaret, got it. So good enough. Margaret got her diet plan. Let's hope that when we meet her the next time around, we see her having achieved whatever that she's setting out to achieve with this diet plan. Okay. Thank you, people. Thank you for being around. Thank you for being patient. I hope you guys have a good rest of the day ahead. Good evening and good night. Okay. And thank you very much, Diane. Appreciate your kind patience too. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.